Hello, everybody. My name is Eddie Cole, and welcome to the Foxway podcast. Joined today by the big man himself, Tony Cole.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages and shoe sizes, my name is, as he said, Tony Cole.
thank you,
What's
thank
up?
you. What's up? Uh, okay, so we are today starting this podcast as I already said. This
Yes.
this is
Yes, we
going
are.
yes. This is really going well. Okay, now before I actually get into any of the topics that I have here professionally listed, uh, why don't you introduce yourself to someone who doesn't know?
oh,
Probably every single one of the viewers does know who you are, but to someone who doesn't,
I I would hope so. Definitely, I would hope so. What do you think they need to know about me?
probably who you are. That would help.
Well, yeah, that's a guarantee. Okay. Well, I am the head of Foxplay Studios. That's hopefully been clear enough, and that's probably very obvious by the amount of lead roles that I play.
Yes,
But
and the kills you get.
yeah, that too. I hope that's one of the topics.
I
It
can
should
add it
be.
to the list. I can add it to the list.
Yeah, okay. That's perfect. Yeah, I came out with Foxway Studios in 2004, and the name I did not come out with. That's the making of our mother. But otherwise, since that year, I've been the head of running things around here in this town. But yeah, I basically do most of everything, especially in the before the past few years. Of course, nowadays it's a bit of a more of an even playing field for everybody.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of
and now I'm trying to take over. This
yeah,
is my
yeah. I see that. I see that, and you're getting a lot of views on that first video already. Like you're making the same kind of numbers that we do, and that's
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know how I don't know how I should think about that. But yeah, now of course I still have authority over you. So if
Mm,
this goes off the rails and well goes to the races, then I'm well of course gonna have to shut you down. But
yeah,
let's hope it doesn't get to that point.
yeah. I hope so too.
But yeah,
Now,
like I was saying, I've been doing all the writing and directing and a lot of the filming in the earlier days and most of the acting in the earlier days. But nowadays it's more even. Like there's been a couple of writing and producing credits to other people in the past few years, and I've kind of given the cinematography to other people. Like we have Alex and Osiris who taken over that area kind of, and I'm just kind of more focusing on writing and directing nowadays. So, and I like playing those roles, well, those starring roles, but I also like to take the smaller roles. But I always want to do the stunts. I love the stunts, you know that.
yeah, I do know that. Just to be clear here, we are brothers, as our names would imply. Uh,
Yes, I'd be more scared if we were not.
yeah, yes. So it's not just the show up here. It's we actually are blood relatives. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the creative one, and he's the actually smart one who comes up with these kind of ideas to do a podcast,
Well,
and I
well,
just do some blood shedding videos on YouTube.
I thank you. Okay. Now that we have cleared all of that out of the way, we can actually jump into the actual topics that I have listed here.
All right, I like the
So,
sound of that.
we are going to be talking about the future and ongoing projects that we currently have uh, been making and have already made for the most part, at least. Most of the sources are either from you telling me or from your Instagram. So your
Yes. Yes, follow that.
Yes, yes, do follow that. You can advertise everything in the ending of this
Yes,
podcast.
and the link will be somewhere here. Oh well, they can't see my hands, but it will be somewhere here,
Yeah,
perhaps
yes,
down there.
I can edit it in.
Okay, perfect.
Your third most recent picture has it's a picture of you uh, with a very intimidating look and a cold, I think that is, and the description says Jack is back. And anything to
That's
add?
correct.
Yes.
That's correct. Jack is back, and he's returning in the second episode of Jack Stone Classified, and we're titling this episode Nightfall. And as the name might imply, if you have or have not been following, if you haven't been following the LCU, the Legend Cinematic Universe, all of this might go a little past your sense of understanding. Well, you're still gonna enjoy it. It's guaranteed Jack Stone action. But if you have been following, or if you check out some of the LCU movies before you check this one out, you're gonna get a lot more out of this one. There's gonna be some references to the LCU world, and well, I won't go to the details about the Nightfall title, but you'll see. You'll see it has something to do with the LCU.
Actually,
And
actually now, one thing here. For the uneducated, we with a couple of sentences, can you tell someone what the LCU is?
oh yes, yes, I thought that'd be good. The LCU, or the Legends Cinematic Universe, is it's a shared continuity between a couple of between ourselves and some other action filmmakers on YouTube. It was started by Tom Smith of Blue Diamond Filmmakers more than 5 years ago with his The Lost Scene film series, and The Lost Scene is a part of this continuity, and others in this continuity are well, there are many, but I'm gonna name a couple of the major ones that have the most to do with these stories. Uh, the E and H companies, Thomas Land series, uh, DEP Films' Clank series, and AMP Corps or GK Productions, whichever you want to call that, Agent O7, or also known as the Philip Creek film series. And
Yes.
then there are some other ones that are connected, but maybe not considered as major, but those characters also feature. And we all live in a same kind of shared continuity, and it's a little bit like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now we're kind of all coming together in this audio drama movie called The Legends, which is due to premiere in 2021. So if you have Facebook or something like that, it's a good idea to follow the Legend Cinematic Universe uh, channel there. But I think you'll still stay pretty well updated if you just, well, by following our channel, because there's going to be a lot of info about that
Yes,
there.
you should do that.
And perhaps we're going to do a separate podcast episode or something on this extra channel about the legends here as well.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, we could do that at one point. It would be
Yep.
fun. And also, it would be kind of fun at some point to maybe get one of the like other guys, not even Foxway guys.
Yeah,
What?
definitely. Yeah. I think Pauli and David and at least the Dev Films guys, they'd be really down for it. And of course, why not the others as well? If we can just, schedule the timing. The being Americans and everything is always
Yeah,
a
that
little bit
that's
tricky.
true.
But
Okay.
okay,
So is there anything else you want to add to? Actually, yeah, I meant to talk about this also. About the future of the Jackstone Classified. Do you want to
okay.
reveal anything about any other episodes that you have planned?
Well, yeah, there's a couple of things I want to say about the series as a whole. Uh, well, we've been planning on the series for a long while now, but it didn't make sense to actually start making it properly until we kind of closed the Vortex story arc in the seventh film. So now was the right time to do it this year. And we released the first episode, Bound by Blood, earlier this year, and now we're doing Nightfall months later. And the reason why there was such a big kind of time period between those two episodes, it's kind of I like Bound by Blood, but I wasn't entirely fond of the kind of style that the episode took on, and like the style of editing and everything
Yeah,
with what went down with that. So now we searched for a new style for Nightfall, and now Nightfall is kind of a reboot in a sense of the show. It's gonna set kind of a tells you it tells you what the rest of the series is gonna look like. Of course, there's always gonna be some advancements and
yeah,
changes and stuff, but that kind of it acts as a direction.
yeah, I do understand that maybe these few first episodes are kind of trying and or
Yeah,
at least the first one was. I
yeah, it's a learning process. It
yeah,
always is.
yeah. And I also get that what you mean by the editing of the Bound by Blood. In my opinion, it was also kind of different than what. Well, what
Yeah,
we yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of it comes from the fact that, well, when I started university, when I started in film school, we started taking on all of these different programs, and I just kind of wanted to try different things out with different programs. And at the time when we were working on Bound by Blood, I was using very different programs to what I had been using before, and those
Mm,
have their own advantages. But the style that I'm using now, and the style that we're sticking to, and the style that we've been using for the past half year or so, is the style that works for us and works for me best. And you can see that in Nightfall that it's different from Bound by Blood because it's like more solid in its editing, and it's you can see that the style is more consistent than what it was with Bound by Blood, because Bound by
right.
Blood was still kind of like a trial and error kind of thing, but now I'm more like sure in what I'm doing because the style has been kind of set in stone, no pun intended. It works quite well, and it's an entertaining episode.
All right. How long is the episode? Can you say that?
The episode is a little over 10 minutes.
All right.
Not sure exactly how long, but it's longer than Bound by Blood by
Good.
almost twice.
Good to hear.
And there are plans for further episodes. I can't say when, but definitely next year. At the current stage, the plan is to divide the show into seasons by year because it does not have a seasonal structure. So I guess 2021 would be season 2 for Jack Stone Classified, even if it's one episode or if it's 10 episodes, who knows.
Yeah.
So it won't be divided by seasons like that, but just like okay, those episodes were made in 2020, so there's season 1, and those were 2021, so that's season 2, so on. I haven't really thought about it that clearly, but I have some good episode ideas for what's gonna happen next in Jack Stone.
Okay. Okay, I think we can move on to our next topic, which also I can talk about a bit. Uh,
All
I
right.
get. Hold on. Let me check that. Your fourth most recent picture is in on Instagram is you very surprised, or how would I say,
Oh,
in a
I know where you're getting with this.
with this black hat, and the description says, "I just continue to be amazed. Find out why when the first season of FWS's new buddy cop Smith and Jones takes the screens this winter." Okay, anything you want to add here?
Okay. Do you think people listening know what Smith and Jones is?
Probably not. I don't know.
Smith and Jones is something new that's coming up this January at the current stage. That's the release timetable. Of course, this is still a work in process, so no dates are confirmed yet. But Smith and Jones was originally made by me and Nick Birch, who you might best remember as Victor Wenyamin from For Queen and Country. We made that series back in 2012. We made a couple of episodes of that. I was Smith and Nick was Jones, and we made a couple of episodes of that show. And it was train wreck, but it was fun. And I've always had some regrets about not making that show work and not making that show to our YouTube channel. So well, of course, the original idea was Nick's. So this we've tried to make a reboot a couple of times, but it's never worked out, and it's hard to schedule things with him. He lives far away and whatnot. So we were just talking about the series, and I was kind of saying that it would be so fun if we could do the series to its full potential. And he asked, "Why don't you?" And I said that, well, the characters are yours. I can't just recast Jones. And he goes, "Well, you can. Go ahead, do it." And then I did it, and I knew that it would work so perfectly with me as Smith and Eddie as Jones. And it's so far as we've been filming this first season of this show, it's been 24 fucking carats of gold. It's going to be
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's been really funny, fun recording, and I think it has been really funny.
Yeah,
Like,
it has been really fun editing it as well.
oh, you've already edited it.
Oh, the first episode is almost ready to go. Uh,
Oh,
it's 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 a little bit of it's still missing the intro because I haven't put it together yet because I also want to feature clips from the last episodes that we have not filmed yet, and we are filming the last episodes of the first season this December this month.
hopefully.
Uh, yeah, as things stand, we are filming it, but of course anything can happen. But as plans stand right now, we are filming the rest of the season this month, and then we'll be releasing the show weekly in January.
As things stand.
As things stand, things can fall over and not stand anymore. That shit happens more
Mm,
often than you think, but
yeah. Now, like,
it's what it is.
uh, uh, now in this case, even I can talk about Smith and Jones, and because I've been kind of a big part in it.
Yeah,
It's been it's probably my, well, I haven't been too long in Foxway Studios, but it's probably my favorite role to this date.
yeah,
It has
yeah,
been really
yeah.
great.
Jones is an interesting character for sure. Like I've talked about this a lot because I really like writing comedy.
Mm,
But writing comedy in the way that we do it, like Nicholson, for example, or Jace Harris,
no.
like they're ridiculous in some sense. They also have to be dramatic and they have to be believable because usually their humor comes from one or two characters being kind of dumb,
Mm,
and then like all the all the comedy happens around their comedic qualities. Now, those are hard to write because of that. But Smith and Jones, okay, let's think about this. Let's put it like this. Smith is dumb. Jones is twice as dumb or thrice as dumb. But the villains are even dumber than both of them combined. Nobody has any sense in their heads, and so it's just the show it writes itself. Everything just happens, and you'll have to see it happen.
mm, yeah. You mentioned you like to write comedies, and it's probably the second most like common genre in Foxway Studios. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it is. But yeah, like I said, like Nicholson, for example, it's a crime comedy. Maybe
yeah,
Jacob Town, those
it's one of the
those
best
ones.
Foxway Studios films, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. It was a long time project of mine, something I wanted to get off my chest for a long time. But those kind of projects are some of my favorites, but they are also really hard to write because they still have to be serious, but they have to be
Mm.
funny. But they still have to be serious and believable. But stuff like Smith and Jones, I can just open a Google Doc and start firing away some random words, and it's all good.
Yeah. Mm.
It just works itself out.
Yeah. It's yeah. I don't really know what to say about it. It has been a really fun project,
Mm.
probably. Uh, yeah.
Uh,
Commercial break time. Woo! Because we had to cut the footage. Okay. Listen quickly here. What the fuck are you doing here if you haven't checked any of Foxway Studios' videos? You should be there right now if you haven't seen any of them. Otherwise, continue listening to this podcast. But if you are completely new to the whole thing, to the whole subject, go subscribe to Foxway Studios right now. Watch some of the films. No Man's Land has just been published. Evan Roscoe, the first assignment is. It was like 2 weeks ago, but it's still pretty new. Everyone, go there if you haven't already checked anything out. You probably have because you're listening to this, but if you haven't, go now, right now. Alright, and we are back from our little break. Now, I think we.
Commercial break.
Yes. We were talking about Smith and Jones, and you talked quite a bit about Jones. Now, why won't you talk a little bit about the other half of the show, Schmidt?
Well, Smith. Well, he at least thinks he's the sane one of the duo. Like I said earlier, they both are dumb, but Smith maybe slightly less so. He at least tries to keep himself and his partner a little more sane, and he's got a little bit more of a traditional police training as opposed to Jones, who kind of ended up as a cop thanks to luck. Uh, Smith is he's very interested in food and or all kinds of luxurious foods, and he's a great cook. At least he thinks he is. He's left-handed, which he makes very obvious at times, and sometimes even struggles with. And he at least likes to think that he's fashionable. Actually, Smith likes to think a lot of things about himself, and well, if you dig really deep into the core of the show, it's more about the two guys in it than it's about solving crimes. But that's their job, so we see that as well. But uh, it's a sort of a learning story for both of those guys actually. So maybe more so even for Smith. Jones is definitely he's okay with who he is, but Smith, you're gonna see he he seems like the more like constant and more sane character of the show, but he's got his own problems, and you're gonna see him kind of well. His biggest problem is Jones, but you're gonna see how he tackles those issues throughout the show and this first season. What about Jones? What's Jones like? I want to hear it from the man himself.
Well, Jones, as you mentioned a few times, is probably the. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say he's the dumber one, or at least in some way, but he's the.
Not in the traditional sense,
Yeah,
maybe.
he's the stranger one, at least, definitely.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Neither of those guys are dumb exactly because
yeah,
you're going to see that they're actually very capable of doing incredible stuff, and they can be kind of smart and
yeah,
strategic. Strat. I can say that. Well,
strategy.
at least, yeah, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Jones is definitely the stranger one out of those characters, and he, I, I think that a lot of Smith's suffering or suffering, in quotes, comes from uh, Jones, and that's probably the biggest comedic part of the whole show.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
just
but I can't wait for everybody to see that. It's a really interesting dynamic, and it's a really funny dynamic,
Mm, yeah.
and it's quite a role, and it's been just such a pleasure to see you doing it. It's a fantastic role, and it's like, well, it was written for you, but it's like it was just meant to be you all along.
Mm, yeah. You're great as Smith too.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, are we done about Smith and Jones, or do you have anything else to add to that?
Nothing else to add, but just remember to check out this first season, because well, it's as said, as it stands, it's to air early next year at least. And well, if it's a successful first season, if it's as funny as we think it is, we'd love to do a second season. So
Hmm.
we'd love to hear that from you. But it's gonna come out soon, and we hope you enjoy that.
Yes. Okay.
That's about it.
Now, actually, I'm going to change my places here a bit. So, now the next topic is other future projects that we probably can't talk that much about as we could about Jack Stone and Smith and Jones. So
Yeah.
uh, the first one, I would like to reference your first or the most recent one of your pictures. A common
Yes.
man with uncommon desire to succeed is the description, and the character here looks oddly similar to George Whitebrook, and I think there's a George Whitebrook hashtag also there. So now announce announce anything you want to announce.
Yes. The third George Whitebrook film, Death to Spies, is in production, and it's uh, it's a long time coming in a sense. Well, Whitebrook is a franchise; it's a fresh one, but it's uh, it's a different kind of Whitebrook film. You know, it sticks to the formula, like what you want to see of the golden era of espionage, but it's a bit different in tone. And this mission is it's more personal for Whitebrook. The first and second film, it was just directly he was doing it for England, for the Queen, but now he's still uh, he's still going for his country's best interest, but he also has a personal grudge with this villain who he faces off with in this film, and
A bit of Jack
it's a little
Stone in there.
darker. Yeah, this it's a little more personal. There's a little bit of Jack and George in this film, and you can see that they are somehow related. And you'll see some sides of Jack in George, but in a more sophisticated manner. But I don't want to tell too much about that. But you'll see that it's slightly more darker, but it's still with the white
Uh,
book touch. There's just all the usual white brook tropes will still be there, and
uh,
he's not gonna change. He's a product of his era.
Hold on. Are we allowed to say that Stone and Whitebrook are relatives?
Yes, we can say at this point that
Yeah.
Whitebrook and Jack Stone are distantly related. It's not going to be a big plot point at any time because the age difference is massive. Like you won't see Whitebrook and Stone run into each other. Well, never say never. Like that's what Sean Connery taught us. Oh, but yeah, at this point there is no plan to make Whitebrook and Stone meet each other, and I can't think of any possible scenario where that
Mm,
could happen. So, yeah, we can say that
right.
out loud. When you go far ahead, far enough on Jack Stone's family tree, you will find George Whitebrook down the list somewhere there, but he's quite far down, so they're not exactly first cousins or anything like that. But
Mm,
there are two spies in the family at least.
yeah. So a couple of things. Can you well, first of all, this can probably be revealed. Uh, a lot of the third movie has been filmed in up north. in
Yes,
where has it
yes,
been uh,
yeah,
filmed?
we filmed it with our so to say Foxway Studios North crew, which includes a lot of my filmmaking friends from film school. So it's got some new fresh faces, and with the White Brook films I've always wanted to give it kind of like a fresh look, like it has some new locations and always some new actors for every film, and we were keeping up to that tradition in this film. We have a new villain, someone who has made a little bit of an appearance before, but Isaac Toole, he has a major role in this film now, and it's a it's been a pleasure, and it's been fun to work with different environments and different actors, and that's kind of the spirit of White Brook. I think that I'm trying to hang on to that as much as possible. Just film it in as many locations as possible and with as many new actors as possible. That kind of keeps up with the era, since White Brook at least started in the 1960s, where the golden era of espionage. A lot of new exotic locations in every film, a lot of actors, and all that nice stuff. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to kind of, since White Brook essentially is a homage to the 60s spy films. So we're just trying to keep up with that tribute there. And yeah, it's going to be a good film. It's like I said, it's a little different, but still the same good old George Whitebrook.
All right, it's uh, uh well, I haven't been too much in the making of that film, but it seems it seems to be good. I've read the script for the most part, and yeah.
Yeah, you shall be, and of course, we still have the coordinate scene to be filmed.
Mm,
So
yeah.
have you been reading your lines?
Uh,
Caught red-handed.
I I've read them once or twice maybe.
Well, you're a quick learner. I have
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
Okay. Uh, we can move on. Do you want to say anything about the new White Brook?
Well, nothing else than Judge Whitebrook Death to Spies will be out in the spring of 2021 as it stands. But things can change, but that is the scheduled release.
Mm. Okay. Now I have no idea how much you can say about this next topic, but we are going to be now talking about the big one.
The big one.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I need to say that the big one is not the name of the film, but it's what we actually Pauli Janhunen Calderon made an interview for the Insider Inside magazine a couple of months ago, and that's when he knows what the film is actually called. So in the interview, he was about to say the name of that one, and I said, no, we can't say that out loud yet. Let's call it the big one. So now we're talking about the big one, and the big one. The big one is I get all emotional when I'm talking about this, but the big one is something that I've had in my mind almost as long as I've been making films. It's I don't want to hype it up too much, because I really need people to see this and feel this film before, without me kind of like building up the anticipation too much. But it's something that I've been working on in some form for at least 9 years. Like, I have notes that date back to 2011,
Mm.
and there are things in those notes that have survived to the actual end product that we're working on right now. And it's it's a lot to process in a sense, and like I said, there's not too much that I can tell you about it, but I can say that we're well ahead into filming it, and the plan right now is to release this big one sometime in 2021. And it's fitting. It's 10 years in the making.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I can't say much. I've been a little bit on the making of the movie, and it's really well. You said not to hype it up too much, but it's really going to be great. It's
Yeah, I think it's like personally, it's been my best writing, and I'm just really proud of the cast of characters we have made for this movie, and even more so, like what we have filmed so far, and what I've talked about with the actors. As of course I'll be directing this film, and everybody's just so much into their characters, and everybody has just come up with so much life and so much like personality for their own characters, and like the stuff that we filmed so far, it's been the best times I've had making films. It's been so smooth, and of course there's going to be some trouble along the way, like there
yeah.
always is, but it's like the process of making this film has been, well, it's been so enjoyable, and every time the making of a film has been enjoyable, at the end when I look at the film, I've been so proud. And like I said, it's been 10 years in the making, and I'm just so proud to make this film and get it out next year.
Mm, one thing you kind of mentioned about the filming of this film. Uh, One thing that I like to say, our schedulings are usually very like kind of varying. Like they might just completely break before we actually get to film. But you've made like absolutely perfect, unbreakable schedules for this the
Yeah,
filming of this. Uh,
yeah, of course. A lot of the stuff we work on, we try to make a schedule when we were filming what, and what are we filming then. But then it's just kind of, life happens. It gets shuffled around, and this is still a hobby for us. So we haven't like jotted every single detail down for every filming that we've done and every film that we made. But this one, for the big one, we've I've made such a like a professional style plan, and like every scheduled shoot, I've written down what we need, when we need it, and we have like proposed dates for it, and we work out the filming dates months in advance. Like right now, I know when we were filming next, and when we were filming after that, and everybody's just cleared the schedule for the entire period of time. And usually it has been with this film, it's a long one. When I said that we did the interview for the magazine a couple of months ago, and we were already filming it, and we're still filming it, and we are still planning filmings for a couple of months ahead. So
mm,
that already tells you that it's gonna be a long one. It's a feature length project. Nonetheless, like the better we have planned it, and like we have planned this really well, you can just see that the production goes so smoothly. Like everything everything has gone according to plan, and everything has happened on schedule, and we've even been faster than we planned, because every shot, every every prop, every every actor has been on set at time, and we've just perfectly kept to the schedule, and it's all thanks to you know planning out the production so well and smoothly. And this one, I've had a lot of assistance from a lot of people, like well, from the whole crew, but uh, Alex, and then you, Eddie, all have been a part of the producing process, and we're definitely going to get credited for your part in making this filming of this big one, this huge film that we'll definitely reveal a lot more about quite
mm,
soon, has made that process so much smoother and so much easier and so enjoyable to do.
mm. I'm currently looking over the script, and this is really long. How long was End of the Lines script?
The script of End of the Line, I think um, it was about 20 pages long,
Yeah,
a little over that maybe.
this is a lot longer, or well, a
Yeah,
lot and a lot, but yeah, it's still longer, much longer.
yeah. I say there's a little bit of a difference between those two scripts because this one might be slightly more detailed in the action parts. As for I remember, End of the Line was more like they fight, and of
Mm,
course it's a staple of my scripts because I don't plan the stunt work beforehand usually. I did for the club, but that was so elaborate in the stunts. But usually I just have an image of what I want for the action scenes, the fight scenes, and then I just write it down in a couple of sentences. For this, the big one, I wrote it down a little more in specific, but not as specifically as I did for the club, where I wrote everything down move per move. But you know, it's a little hard to uh, estimate the length by the script, but it's gonna be a long one. It's gonna be a feature length project, like I said.
mm, yeah. Um, well, I don't know about that then. Anything?
Yeah, yeah. It's I would like to say so much more about it, but you know, it's still a big work in process. I'd say we have filmed about
Uh,
somewhere between 20 to 30% of the film.
can you tell when we're going to get more information about, or somewhere around when we're going to get more
We
information?
are going to get an official announcement in the very early months of 2021,
Okay.
possibly by the end of January. If not, then perhaps in February. It kind of depends on does the production continue to go as smoothly as it has, and if it does, then you're gonna get an announcement in about a month's time.
Okay.
Nonetheless, you're going to get an announcement quite soon in the next few months.
All right.
Then you'll know the actual name and see some footage and see some teasers and stuff, and then all hell will break loose and you'll hear all about it.
Mm,
For now, I still want to keep it under the tap because, like I said, it's about maybe 20 to 30% film. But when we have a little more, I'm way more confident of showing you what this all is about.
all right. Uh, so want to move on?
Yeah,
All right.
we will surely do a new episode about that when the announcement has been made.
Yeah, yeah. We can. Yeah. Okay. Now we are going to actually now we can't announce the big one, but we are apparently, according to you, going to announce some new ones. So
Yeah.
am I do you want to announce them yourself, or am I going to say the names here, or
Well, yeah, I can say a few things, and then you can add
mm,
some things about each entry. Well, first of all, this has been announced like a year and a half ago, so this should not come as a surprise. But we are finally working on the third Mikael Grön film, Dish Served Cold. That was announced at the end of the last film, Iron Curtain, and it's at the last stages of pre-production. We're honing the last parts of the script, and it's going to be shot over the winter, and you can expect a release in 2021. And that's going to be going to be the end of the trilogy. You'll see how Grön and Bolshakov's final confrontation will go.
right? Anything else about that one?
Not really. It's going to be worth the wait. You know, Mikael Grön, it's always been a couple of years in between the films. Like
Mm,
we did the first one in 2016, and the other one came in 2019. So I'm excited for that. And well, what I can say is that Nathan Tarver is one of the most underrated actors, not in Fox Studios, not in YouTube, but in Finland. he's got an amazing skill, and he I can't thank him enough for he always knows his lines by heart by the day we're filming, and there are plenty of roles and plenty of projects that I want to do with him, but you know, Mikael Gröner has been his first dear character, so I'll be happy to deliver an end to this current trilogy.
Mm. Uh, Hold on. I thought I was about to say something about the Michael Curran, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Well, I actually want to ask you. You know, in the first, or no, actually the second Mikael Grön film, that was your big break, kind of. That was your
Yeah,
first role with a name in a Foxway Studios
Anton
film.
Ananyev, right?
Yes, Anton Ananya. He was a Russian sniper
Mm.
who was hired by Bolshakov, or he was Bolshakov's old friend who got out of jail in exchange for Mikael Grön's freedom.
Yeah, I na- back then I thought I did it pretty much perfectly. Well, of course he's not like a big part of the movie, so it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter. But uh, these days I can't really love that character too much. But
yeah,
it was
yeah. Well, he met deserved end, I guess.
yeah. What was it actually my first like
I
action?
I am ready to bet that it was your first main
I
role.
was a
Your
henchman in the ditch,
in
but
the ditch, yeah.
yeah.
But it was which one was first, Nicholson or?
I no Nicholson. I think is published first. I'll check it.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's like because I know you filmed the Grön before Nicholson was
Mm.
released.
Yeah. Nicholson has been released before Iron Cut.
Yeah, that's right. Frank Butler was your like first name role, but then again, we didn't really give Frank a name
mm,
at the time in the film. It was only in the credits, but
mm,
you know, it just it was kind of a joke that just started living on that the butler's name was Frank. So his
mm,
first name is Frank, and then his last name is Butler.
mm.
So yeah, that kind of works, but. Yeah, you know, in a sense, Anton Ananya was your well. It was at least it was
The
your
first one I actually acted, I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. In Nicholson, you just kind of stood there and looked at a rifle, and then you said "boss," and that was all. But yeah, yeah, no, but yeah, both of those, Frank Butler, Anton Ananya, those were your like big breaks
Mm.
into the FWS world.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Michael Curran the third.
Yeah, dish served cold. It will
Right.
be out sometime in 2021. The production hasn't started yet, so I have no estimate for the release date. But I'd hope somewhere between spring and summer. We'll see.
Okay. Next one. There are two that I've listed here. So.
Okay, I'll mention something a little different from Grön. As
Mm,
we've been planning this for quite a while, and it's if I say that it's titled Wheelman, you might have an idea who exactly it is related to.
mhm,
I don't want to tell too much about that, but when I say that it's called Wheelman, and I say that it's a sequel to Made in Jacobtown, you might have an idea who might have survived that car crash at the end of the movie.
mm,
It's a film that I don't want to tell too much about the story because it's one that you need to see again. And but it's a really funny one, and I have a great
mm,
script for it. And well, let's just say that I'm going to have a great time making it. I don't know about anybody else because it's kind of a one man show, so that might tell you who is the
mm.
character who heads this Wheelman titled
Um.
film. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one, and I'm gonna shoot it pretty soon actually. So
Uh.
that might be in our early release schedule for next year. But yeah, that's about it for that one.
Well, I have one question about that. Do you think it's going
Surely.
to be similar to Made in Jacobtown, or is it like Well,
It's
Made
at
in
l-
Jacobtown is a really unique
yeah,
one of our films.
yeah. It's gonna follow in those footsteps. It's stylistically, at least, it's gonna be similar.
Mm, yeah,
It's gonna follow the same kind of style that Made in Jacobtown was.
yeah. Okay. Well, then there's one left.
Yeah, the Striker Ascension was a great film that we made this year, and it kind of surprised me that it's one of the most watched films of the year. Is it actually the most
It's
watched?
actually the most watched. Club is
The,
the second most watched.
yeah, the Striker Ascension was our most watched film of 2020, at least so far, and it got some pretty good reviews. So, and originally when I planned it, I of course, well, first of all, let's go back a couple of years. Let's go back to actually 2015 when we made the first attempt to make this Brian Striker film
Oh, and
series,
that's
and then
actually been published, isn't it?
no, no, the 2015 version has never seen the light of day. The
Oh,
2016, the
oh,
2016 version was seen in unfinished and unreleased.
oh, right.
But
Okay.
and that in the first one I played Brian Stryker. In the second one, Thomas Sanford played Brian Stryker, and we never finished that one. It's just, well, we had time issues, and then it just didn't work out as well as we wanted to. But I always had like a I had a bit of a problem with the way that the Brian Stryker character never got his own movie. So then I started thinking about that I wanted something big for Eric Sanford because Eric is a great actor and he just needed his own franchise. Like, well, everybody in Foxface Studios has their own franchise almost at least, and we just needed something. I wanted to have Eric star in something, and then I remembered Brian Stryker, and I was like, yes, this is what we're going to reboot. And then we did the Striker Ascension, and it was obvious to me that I want to continue the series. So it's getting a sequel entitled The Striker Betrayal in 2021. I can't tell too much about that as either because that is very early in pre-production. We haven't even started on the script. There's just some bullet points there that I'm going to follow when I'm gonna make the script, but yeah, it's early on in pre-production, but I can tell that it's probably gonna come sometime in the summer of 2021, somewhere around there. But nonetheless, the Striker Betrayal is a project that we definitely are working on, and it's gonna come out eventually. But I can't really tell much about the timetable because I don't know anything about the timetable of that film yet.
Right. Going in and
But it's one that I want people to know that is gonna come because we kind of set up the ending of Ascension that way. So yes, here's your confirmation. There's gonna be a second Brian Stryker film.
yes, going in an alphabetic order there. Ascension and Betrayal.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to say what the third one would be called, but we'll talk about that after Betrayal is out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is one more topic to discuss, which is this channel that this will be uploaded on, and we kind of talked before we actually started recording about the kill counts that have
Kill
been
counts.
right. So
Yeah. Like, isn't it kind of funny to think about this now? Like, you made this channel with the idea of making these extra videos and everything, and you've had this, and this is all Eddie's idea, by the way. I want everybody to know that this whole channel is
yes,
Eddie's idea. This is, and of course he asked for my approval, but I was like, "Fuck yes, you're gonna do it." And then he's off the races, and it's a fantastic idea. But I want to say that this all kind of started with me promising Eddie, like, I think it was 50 euros if he made kill count videos for every Foxface Studios actor. There's been the Jackstone kill count that I've always like kind of, it's something that I wanted to keep track of for some reason. That's a kind of a psychopathic thing to keep track of. Well, nonetheless, we've been keeping tabs on how many kills each actor has racked up in every film, and then I told
You're
Eddie that
leading it by like 300 kills.
Shh. I'm just always there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Eddie that I'll give you 50 euros if you do a kill count video for every Foxway Studios actor, and I was wholeheartedly expecting him to say no because it was a total joke. And the dude goes, "Of course, yes, I'll do it." And then, you know, and that maybe that was the
Hey,
spark of this channel.
hold up a little bit. Your microphone is kind of crumpling over there.
Oh, I'm just getting all excited and riled up.
Okay, well, continue, please.
Yeah, that's. I think that was kind of the idea where this channel might have started from. You know, that's maybe where you got the idea that you could do these some kind of extra videos,
Yeah,
and maybe that started like boiling up in your head, and then this channel came out of it.
yeah, it was kind of that, and even I've always wanted to make some sort of like fan videos, I guess, about Foxway Studios. Me as being the biggest fan of them, and yeah, but yeah, it's great that I now have an actual platform to do that on and publish them
Yeah,
out.
yeah. How does it feel now? You know, like I told you a couple of days ago, like it's you've been a stable part of Foxway Studios for like only like 18 months now, and like back then, before then, like we just didn't feature you in anything. But nowadays, I couldn't imagine doing anything else, any films without your some kind of involvement. But like I can't imagine that from your point of view. Like you just watched all our stuff on YouTube for a couple of years, and then now you're a part of it. Like, can you tell me something about that? Now you've been asking questions, but now this has turned into my interview.
It's really great. As like I think I've never really talked about this, but you 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 as my brother, you have to understand that for the past like 5 years, I've actually grown up with these movies, and it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy to think about. Like I could even go as far as to say that Jack Stone is one of my childhood heroes. So it's
Oh my god! Oh my god! My heart melts.
it's really amazing to now be a part
Man, I
of
feel
this.
that.
It's
Tell me how did that feel when I asked you to be a part of End of the Line?
was that oh right, yeah. I was kinda it's although my part isn't that big, but it was really amazing. Uh I I'm I'm going really speechless here. It was the whole like I don't remember when we actually filmed that or when you asked me
Because
to.
now that I think about it, we did film that before we filmed your part in Nicholson or
Yeah, because I was
Mikael
thinking
Krön.
about that because maybe Jim
Because
Pesek was my.
yeah,
G-
sort
g-
of it was.
yeah.
Because you know, well, this is a fact. Your first role in Foxway Studios that was filmed and published was The Ditch,
Mm,
because we needed someone to play a henchman. But
yeah.
when we did that, it wasn't like the plan that like I always have known that I'll feature you in the films a
Mm,
lot someday. But when we filmed The Ditch, I didn't know if that was the day that from then on you'll be in everything we do. Like it wasn't obvious to me at that point. But then I needed someone different for End of the Line, and you happened to be there,
mm.
so I was like, would you like to be in this? And then when that worked out so well and you were awesome in that, like considering that you were like
Coffee?
you were like 12 in then in that film, I don't know, I don't even know, but you
I
were young
yeah,
in that.
I was 12.
Yeah, and I just asked you to be in that film, and then it worked out so well. So I was like, hey, this works out great, and we have different face in this. So I asked for you for Nicholson, and I asked you for Mikael Grön, and then I asked you for something else, and well, you know the rest.
Mm.
but yeah, it's you know, well, I guess perhaps Jim Bezic was your first role because it was filmed in
Mm,
like early April of 2019,
yeah,
and everything else was filmed after that, even though End of the Line was released a lot later.
that was a great
Yeah,
filming session because it took like me like 50 attempts to do the most basic thing ever, which was handing out like coffee. It was amazing.
yeah, but a little bit of stage fright never killed anybody. Well, probably someone. But
uh, it's a well, yeah. I guess Jim Bezek was my first one, like
yeah,
the actual real first one.
yeah. Hey, this is something. I'm just kind of jumping back and forth now, but because we were talking about
Mm.
this, and earlier we were talking about the big one. Like,
Mm.
I'm giving you liberty to tell about. You can't, of course, use any names or
Mm.
anything. But how do you feel about your character in the big one?
Uh, so
Because it's a big role.
yeah, I haven't read like I have read every single one of my parts in the. I
Yeah.
haven't read like I would say I have probably read like 20 pages of the script like whole. I have read like the ending and everything like there. I have read all of my parts and it I kind of actually like my character a lot because well I like all of the characters but mine is kind of great because well I don't know how I can say this without really revealing anything but
well, well, I can say this for you. Every character develops a lot throughout the film, and that's something that usually, well, we make shorter films, so we don't have time to develop our characters. But this one's gonna be a long one, so there's a lot more time for everybody to develop, and I think that can be seen in your character too. Without saying too much, it's a nice process for you too, and it's gonna be nice for an actor as well.
if I can say anything I can cut this just out if it's revealing too much but like the every single one of the reason why I think my character is kind of unique in this is because every single one of the other characters are looking for something that's a bit too much of a reveal but my character is the pretty much the only one of these characters who just wants to be happy and not he just wants to be free. I think I'm revealing a bit too much.
Let's put it this way: your character in the big one is very unique in the way that he goes about the thing that everybody is going about
Mm,
in the film. Like, everybody has a different perspective, but they're still kind of going for the same goal. Now, this guy, for your character, his goal is beyond what everybody else is
mm,
going for.
yeah, that's what I meant. But
Yeah.
we
Now it's just becoming very confusing, and we're hyping up a little bit too much. So
do I need to cut anything out? I I
no,
can't.
no, no. Just
Okay.
keep it as it is. Maybe this
Yeah.
is just building up a little bit of anticipation, and
Mm,
anticipation is always good.
mm,
And it's like when you hear all of this, just know you have to see it. You just have to see it.
yeah. It's yeah.
I'm getting chills when I talk about it.
Like if I were to talk a bit more about like my experience with the well, I kind of already talked about it, but those couple of filming sessions, well, first of all, they've been really fun. They've probably meant a lot for you, and even like to me, it has been like kind of impactful just seeing that we're actually making an like an
Yes.
actually lengthy movie, like something that
Yeah.
could be shown in theaters or. s-
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Like I said, it's been in my head for a very long time, and like there had been like I've tried to do it before, and there have been like times that I've thought that okay, this is the year that we're actually making it, but we've never got to filming. And now, the day that we actually filmed the first scenes earlier this year was very, very emotional for me because I realized that this is actually fucking happening. Like
Mm.
that really meant a lot to me. And every time we get together to film the big one, I always feel very, very, very emotional. But on top of everything, very grateful that we're actually getting to do it.
Mm.
And you know the scenes that we are filming next. Those are gonna be some very, very enjoyable times.
Mm. Yeah.
How about we head back into your what we were talking about before this, so we don't actually accidentally reveal something we don't want to reveal.
Yeah. So Foxway extras. That was the first topic, but now
Yes.
we're back on the big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
About
but you know, it's an exciting project, so we just
yeah.
kind of circle around and back to it.
It's yeah. Uh, so for, about Foxway extras, I'm first of all I'm not really even to this day I'm really not sure what I'm going to do there, but it, because to be honest, even though I said that we would be or I would be making some behind the scenes content, I don't necessarily think that we have too much of that, but from this on, I will probably be recording some of it myself.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I really love, we have from some filming sessions from like the club, it's so amazing to see like all of the big sequences when they happen and see them from
Mm,
another perspective. Like you know, when we were filming a big action scene, you always have the action cam going around and around, and you know there's a lot of gunfire and everything going on. But then it's also a little bit comedic when you film it from the side, kind of just
yeah.
standing still there and seeing what happens. But no, that's the kind of stuff I'd like to see if I was a fan.
Mm,
And yeah, that sounds good. Maybe you can from the next couple of filmings.
yeah.
And I'll provide you with the like the usable stuff that we have from
Mm,
those, and yeah,
yeah.
maybe we can keep the camera rolling a little bit longer from now on as well.
Mm, the thing is like we don't have too much behind the scenes content from now, so probably for the a couple of months maybe it will probably be more of that compilation kind of
Yeah,
videos and
yeah,
well probably continuing this podcast and
yeah,
yeah, but there probably will be more behind the scenes content now that this channel actually exists and there's a reason to film some behind the scenes
yeah,
content.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's all together. It's just a fantastic idea to have this platform to well. First of all, we can shove everything that doesn't fit into the main channel. We can shove it here, and I'll just, of course, I'll hand everything over to you when it comes to Foxway Extras, and you can
yeah.
just do whatever you want with that.
Mm,
But yeah, it's a great opportunity to show a little bit of what goes into making Foxway Studios films.
mm. It's exciting,
Yeah, definitely.
but now I have run out of topics. If you have
You've
anything,
run out of topics.
yeah.
Oh man.
If you have anything, then we can just keep on talking. But
Well, this is kind of your show.
yeah,
So yeah, not really, not really. It's just well, we've talked about a lot
well,
about the projects that are coming up, but you know, Foxway Studios is always full of surprises, and we it wouldn't be the first time we just post something without ever announcing it beforehand,
mm,
and you can bet on it that's gonna keep on happening. Like we have a lot of like little short films. Like those 5 minute ones below. Well, let's say this: if it's under 10 minutes, you're probably not going to hear about it beforehand.
mm,
It's just gonna come out whenever the time is right. And we have a couple of those projects kind of brewing right now. Those are often the ones that we don't really have a lot of pre-production on. You know, we just go ahead and shoot it. And then there are some announcements that I didn't want to talk about now that are maybe some bigger projects, but they are so early in their pre-production stages that I
I
don't want to
I know.
say anything now. And there will be probably, well, another podcast, maybe some trailers. We'll start announcing those. So, it's whatever can happen in Foxway.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me for this. This has actually been much over an hour. We were anticipating before this that this would probably, hopefully, be maybe half an hour, but this has been a lot longer than an hour.
Yeah, but like I said, I like talking about myself and the
Yes.
shit I do.
Yes. So, thank you. And
Yeah, no, thank you.
hey, do you want to plug in anything, advertise anything? Maybe that Instagram you were talking about or something.
Yes, well, first of all, go subscribe to Foxway Studios. If you
Yes,
haven't,
exactly.
if you have subscribed to Foxway Extras and you haven't subscribed to Foxway Studios, there's seriously something wrong with you. You gotta go get your life in check.
Mm,
Go check out Foxway Studios and then also subscribe to Foxway Extras because both of these are very useful. Well, you can go subscribe. Subscribe. What? You can follow me on Instagram at King Tony Cole, and well, if you want to see my old tweets, you can go check out my Twitter at Tony Cole BIW because there you can maybe there I'll post more about my wrestling stuff as well. But yeah, well, that's about it. And well, for now, I can say that Jack Stone Classified Episode 2 Nightfall is gonna come out on December 25th, Christmas Day. So do not forget to check that out.
Thank you. And
Thank
thanks
you.
to all of the listeners or watchers. There probably won't be any footage here, so mostly listeners. So thank you for listening, and I'll probably see you in the next video. That might be a podcast or a compilation or something. But before that, thank you and goodbye. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.